Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachak Udash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopefully elect that day, Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shemon, this week's topic, I'm going to be talking about, the SNAP benefits and the government lockdowns is going to affect, or is affecting, a lot of people. You know what I mean? First of all, these government programs, some people put themselves in a position to completely rely on it. Government assistance in the form of food stamps or what have you to get foods and get these sorts of things. They really was created to get you out the jam, get you up on your feet. But what happens over the years now is people become accustomed to it, know all these different tricks to go about it, to the point where it's become generational. That's like a trust fund baby and a welfare baby, pretty much two sides of the same quarter or coin, if you will, because they become completely dependent on whoever's providing for them. You know what I'm saying? Which could be very detrimental in the long term. And the so-called white man knows this. He's made a majority of people, not a majority, a lot of people dependent on the government. And when they're ready to cut shit, now you fucked. But we've been warning you. When I say we, the apostles, the elders, Great Millstone, use that shit, but don't make that shit your main thing, man. Because they could cut it at any moment. The so-called black woman, all right, the nigga woman, she's feeling it greatly. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 1. Not only the so-called black woman too, but I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of major businesses are gonna feel that. Why? Because that's gonna cut a lot into their revenue. You see, because especially since the holiday season, they're not gonna see a lot of buying. It's gonna cut into because a lot of the buying came from the government aid. These people using government aid to go and empty these shelves. But now, you see, and that's how come too I'm going to be speaking about the famine, because I also said this actually I heard Elder Alriala say it first, and it's true, that famine doesn't necessarily mean a lack of food, but it could also be a lack of access to food, because it's like now, these people that have been using these government programs for a number of years, all right, now it's cut. Now they don't have access to food. They don't have enough money to buy what they need and shit, and hey, let me just get into it. Isaiah 31 verse 1 says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Now we know Revelations 11 and 8 lets us know that America is spiritual Egypt, right? This place of bondage here, right? It says, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Right? So instead of praying the Most High wisdom and getting you out your jam and working shit, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna just go to the so-called white man and abuse this SNAP program, this government aid program, and whatever. Now when that shit is cut, you losing your shit. You got women talking about it, and this is a real thing. It looked like a real contest they holding. If you go and I forgot what the event was held, but basically it's like the best single mom wins some money or some shit like that, because the SNAP benefits, really a lot of single mom are on that. They got the SNAP benefits. The so-called nigga woman should get the benefits, and she use a child support. It's in a woman's nature to try to find different ways to get provided for without really doing much provision for herself. But yeah, that's what's happening, man. You know what I'm saying? And also, how is government programs aided? Through taxes, all right? Through taxes. That's how the government gets its revenue. The government gets a bulk of its revenue, all right, from taxes. You know, you pay your tax, goes to the government. The government, this is how they want to do it. So people are also like, well, if that's their situation, fuck them. You know, because people are like, man, I don't want to keep paying taxes and taking care of people, man. You know, here I am busting my ass. You know, now my tax dollars got to come out to pay for somebody else that don't want to work or don't want to. That's how a lot of people are thinking that. That's the word on the street, at least when I hear this topic get brought up. So not everybody's like mad at what Trump is doing right now. You see, I'm just giving you the full scope of things. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 2. It says, "And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as for death to death." It's going, yo, man. The Lord is gonna bring some shit out here, man. Some plagues. All right. Race wars, class wars. All right. A lot of death is coming, man. Plagues and sicknesses. It says, so such as for death to death, and such as for the sword to the sword. The sword is any instrument of destruction. It says, and such are for the famine to the famine. See? So that lack of access to food is going to hit. It says, and such as for the captivity to the captivity, and people are going to be getting snatched up when this martial law thing gets put into place, man. All right. Hey, some brothers, we might get caught up in that, but again, the Lord is going to protect us in these times, in these perilous times. The Most High got us, and He's going to keep our minds stable. That's the book of Isaiah, right? Wisdom and stability. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times. All right, because we're going to be understanding what's going on. When all hell break loose, a lot of people's not going to understand what the fuck is really going on. Like, yo, but us that's in the know, that have this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, we're going to know beat for beat this is going according to the scriptures, and it's going to keep our mind stable, man. And the stable mind, when all hell is breaking loose, makes you make better decisions. You see. Verse 3, it says, and I will appoint over them four kinds of it says, I will appoint over them four kinds, saith the Lord: the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And what happened too? Them zoo animals are gonna be out here. Yo, certain parts, especially in New York City, you go up there, there's all types of coyotes and bears and shit like that. Hey man, these animals they're gonna be hungry as hell too. You know? When shit hit the fan and nothing, and no one's there to feed them, and it's all crazy and all that. Hey man, all they thinking about is food, eating. You know, it's gonna be the same for a lot of these people out here. All right. They cut off access to the trucks. Trucks can't deliver. They're gonna create some shit, man. All right. Either organically from the Lord or synthetically, they're gonna orchestrate some shit. But these things will come to pass here in America. 4, and I will cause them to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth because of okay, well that was a point. It's going into the ancient history, but you know, history repeats itself. You know, Jacob's gonna feel it again. All right, the scriptures speak about what? Jacob's trouble in the book of Daniel 12:2, Jeremiah 30:7, man. All right, a time that's like never before. All right, now this is a book of Psalms chapter 33 verse 18. It says, behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him. Who are the ones that fear the Lord? The ones that keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, doing the lessons, teaching, learning, praying, fasting, everything, you know, the scriptures say in terms of supplication to the Most High, we do, man. All right, because we hoping and praying, all right, that we receive mercy. You know, the day of the Lord is going to be like a bear on one side, a lion on the next, and a snake in a wall type shit, right? In the book of Amos it says that. So it's going to be hell on all sides. And then if you're not covered by the blood of the Lord, hey man, then you fooled. It says, behold, the eyes of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their souls from death and to keep them alive in famine. Right? So when these things come to pass, you know, the Lord's gonna protect us, man. See? I really hope no brothers and sisters is in that situation right now with the whole SNAP shit that has made, you know, that thing their primary income. But look, shit can happen. Everybody's situation is different, you know. The Lord could make that be so, you know, even though you know you shouldn't have went that route. Things in life, things like that could happen. I'm just trying to be understanding here. Hey, the Most High got you, you know. You know, you pray, you have faith, and the Most High gives you, you know, knowledge and understanding to get out of that, man. All right. Give you a means, okay, to where you can make enough that you don't have to rely on that. All right. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 3. It says, For thus saith the Lord, concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land, it says, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. Right, because you ain't got no time to bury nobody. All right, this type of hell that's gonna come to this place, you ain't got no time to, you know, everybody's gonna, again, fending for themselves. That's how come the scriptures tell you the course of their actions shall stand in their own power, roughly paraphrasing, because they're not going to be regarding their kings and princes. Nobody's going to be giving a fuck about what the cops and the mayor say, because the cops and the mayor is going to be out trying to protect themselves and their families. Okay, we're talking about all out hell, man. Here in New York City, just imagine this, man. You in New York City and the bridges get cut off. Look, if you're not in the Bronx, all them other boroughs, you're stuck on a little island, man. You know, you need a train. It's either a tunnel or a bridge. And you know what movie showed you that? Dark Knight Rises. Brain blew up the bridges, blocked off the tunnels, and they were stuck on an island, man. You see? He held the whole Gotham hostage. It says, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. They shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. You don't, like, you know, you might see dog shit on the floor, whatever. You just keep it pushing, man. It's gross. You just keep it pushing. That's how accustomed people are gonna be to seeing dead bodies. Well, it's like, look, man, shit. I just gotta keep it pushing. Ain't gonna be no EMS and stuff running around. It's gonna be overwhelming. It says, upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. That's the type of shit the Lord is gonna bring here, man. Revelation chapter 18, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly burned. She shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges her. Right, so this thing is like a domino effect, man. You hit one domino, the next starts to fall. These prophecies, when all hell breaks loose, is gonna be sporadic. You know, like a woman, like scriptures talk about, a woman in travail, labor pains, sporadic. You know, there's gonna be so much happening. They got the government shutdown going on right now. A lot of government people are not getting paid. You seeing that in the people that do the flight controls. You know, they're not getting paid. Again, this is a lot of shit they do too, because they didn't expect the government shutdown to go this long. A lot of shit they do too, these elites do is like, you know, do things and see how people react, see what they could get away with. You know, do a little test run for when they want to pull major shit. You know, it was like 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks to a month ago, there was everybody's WhatsApp was shut down, or YouTube was shut down, or Venmo was shut down, or PayPal's. So they's like, you know, they seeing shit like, what if we just shut down all their phones, shut down the whole bank, shut down every. Guess what? You're gonna be running to the government for a solution, and they gonna have the answer. That chip. Oh, we've sustained a major cyber attack. You know, the only way you could get access back to, you know, your digital ledgers, because they trying to put everything on blockchain. They trying to tokenize everything. You know, tokenize your house, tokenize all the assets you have. And when I say tokenize, I mean put it on a blockchain, all right, and have pretty much shares of it so you could have a bit more liquidity and shit like that. But really, that's just making everything more digital, which more digital means more control. All right. So they're gonna come up with a solution that they shut everything down. You can't, and when they shut the phones off, here's the thing: when you shut the phones off, how you gonna counsel? How you gonna call? Because people, when they did the lockdowns, you know, people were putting up shit on TikTok or putting up things, and so you had some people that were like truthers, if you will, that was saying, okay, this is bullshit. But what did they shut all that down? You got nothing to. That's how come it's not only going to be a famine of food, but it's going to be a famine of hearing the word of the Lord. So people are going to be completely bugged the fuck out. You're not going to be able to flip on a show for comfort. You're going to have the oil that you have the faith that you have built up, and be prepared. Okay. You watch shows like The Walking Dead. Nobody got cell phones. All that shit is shut down. There's no cell phones. You know, you meeting people on the fly. You don't know if you could trust them or not. These are the things that's gonna come to this place, man. Revelations 18:8 says, "Therefore shall her." Oh yeah, no, that's it. Let me go to Lamentations chapter 4. Verse 9, it says, "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger." Right? Because, you know, you get killed, you die, boom, that's it. It's over. Starvation, that's hell. You start to hallucinate. You know, it really fucks with your mind, man. People go psycho. They become zombies. You're gonna see a bunch of zombies out here, man. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. You know, exactly. All that's on your mind is eat. When this deep famine and the body starts to eat away at itself for nutrients, you see, your brain just shuts down. And like I said, like you see a glimpse of it now. Certain people saying, look, I don't give a fuck about these people that's not getting their money from SNAP. I don't want to pay for it with my tax dollars. You can kind of see that people are caring less about others, really. You know, and then Matthew 24:12, which I got right here, says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? So the love of many shall wax cold. People ain't gonna be looking out for nobody. Like I said, it's gonna be complete cynicism, complete looking out for me and my kind. You know, I think the best example of that shit is prison, man. All right, when you go to prison, they don't care what gang you in. It's just what race you are. And you go with that, and it's just a completely different world, a completely different universe at these maximum prisons or whatever. Right? People go back to just complete survival mode. You know, and wax cold, complete survival mode. They just doing whatever to survive. Shit they normally wouldn't do prior to being in that prison system. They just trying to do whatever to survive. And in doing so, motherfuckers get real cold, man. Some cold-hearted shit. Revelation chapter 6 verse 5 reads, it says, and when he had opened the third seal, so like it, and what, yeah, okay, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. Come and see. And I beheld, it says, I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hands. And this is going into famine, it's going into inflation. Okay, that's that black horse represents death. 6, it says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So the penny is talking about a day's wage. So you working a day's wage just to get a loaf of bread. You know? Shit is getting super expensive. It says, and see, thou hurt not the oil and the wine, right? Don't hurt the truth. Yeah, so inflation, famine, death, chaos. That's what's coming down the pipeline, man. And if you're not right with Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rachakodash, you food, man. You know, that's just the bottom line. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rachakodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.